Welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening podcast. Today is an episode number 17, and as we know, it's a Wednesday episode with a guest post. So all my beautiful souls who are listening to it, welcome back. And if there are new souls today here, glad you found my podcast. Today, as we know, we discuss about the story, what you have sent to me. As many of you can send me your story on my email, twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com. Today, I will read that story and I will tell you what kind of energies I pick up, what do I feel about this connection overall, and how to change the perspective or understanding of the twin flame journey. We all know that twin flame connection is extremely confusing. There are so many things that all of a sudden are changing in your life. The way you feel, the way you see the world from now on, and also the big fight in between your mind and your soul. Is that my new reality? Is that the real thing? How? I also have made for this time a little different update that on my Instagram. On Wednesday, you can ask a question and I will answer these questions at the end of the podcast. I'd like to say that often these questions are quite complex, so there isn't really a 5-minute answer or 2-minute answer, but I make them short, and in the future I will make them as longer episodes and as more in-depth. So I hope this gives you the overview in the beginning to make sure that no, you're not crazy in your head. I also like to thank each one of you who have booked their consultation calls, and I apologize for not sending out the invitations as quickly. There has been so many big shifts happening, especially for my clients. And since my soul family is the number one for me, I try to really help them who are already in, like the one step away from their awakening. Today, we have chosen one story. And that was actually supposed to come out last week, but it came out now because it's quite a long story, and I think we're gonna dive into it. So I hope you will like it. Hi, I am that girl from TikTok that I asked your email address. Yes, those who don't know, I am on TikTok, I am on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and on YouTube, of course, and Spotify, wherever you have found me. I'll try to give out the information on each of platforms to make sure that you're up to date what is happening and how it is. So I'm glad to know that somebody has decided from TikTok to send me the story. Well, first I would like to say that I'm not 100% persuaded this guy is my twin flame. Or if I say better, I feel like I'm a little bit fighting against it with my rational mind, but my spirit knows. But maybe you could bring here some more clarity if it's truly my twin flame. That's, I think, it's very common here. I think many of you are listening that in the beginning we were fighting against of the idea of twin flame and not accepting that there is this kind of a connection out there. It felt more like, how come I'm all of a sudden obsessed about someone who I don't really know and what is happening to me, and your mind tries to tell you that it's going to go away, everything is going to be okay, and then actually everything is going to fall apart in your life. A new young teacher came to our school. When I first met him and our eyes met, I knew for sure I know him. It was really weird. We really understood each other like with no one else. And when I came back, I can see that he was the first one who realized that our special connection first. After a while, I found out he fell in love with me. My best friend told me that she saw some signs, like blushing, he was constantly at me, laughter, nervousness. I told her she's crazy. She told me that I should pay more attention and I will see it too. Deep down, I knew it's true. My best friend asked me if I love him back. I gave him a minute and to think about it, even though my heart was yelling yes. But I told her no, because she told me that I can't be in love with this guy. Because if it wasn't her type, it wasn't my type exactly. and so on. And also because I was too young and didn't feel prepared for it. So here are a couple of things which I can already say it, that it's often, and that's why also for those who are wondering if the twin flame runner has any feelings towards them and why is it denying it and why is it not saying it, is that because, like you see here on my previous episode, we were exactly talking about it. We want to speak from our soul, but we don't speak from our soul. So we say things from our ego mind that we tried to quiet. Even myself, for a very long time, when I had this weird connection with my this strange connection with my twin flame, I was suppressing it. I could not understand this whole concept. Today, I see it absolutely in a different light, and that's why I do my podcast. Okay, let's go on from here. Since then, I started paying attention, and I really saw his love. And I said I wasn't prepared for it at all. So I started to hate him, and I didn't really know how to handle this. I was mad at him because I felt completely destroyed by this connection between us and with his feelings. He realized this very early, and he was sad because of that, but he couldn't stop it. One day he even lost his control over himself, and he hugged me tightly. But even though I hated him when we were talking about school stuff during the session, deep down I felt calm and peace. There was a magic between us for sure. Another thing I'd like to bring it out here is that I just had a very interesting call, which I'm going to keep that for Sunday episode because that's something beyond. But it's like sometimes, and not actually sometimes, it's very often that runner and chaser, our roles change. So in the beginning, you can be the runner, who is now divine feminine, and who is the chaser. So these are very common things, and I have a very interesting story what I had with my client. I mean, it's beyond. In the beginning, I couldn't pick up the energy. I was like, something is not right here. Until we got to the core, and I was like, okay. Now it all makes sense. So I hope it will make sense to you as well. So after 1 year, I finally stopped fighting against it, and I realized this whole time I was in love with him too. I just wasn't prepared to admit even for myself. And all the beautiful times started, looking into each other's eyes. It was so magnetic, smiling during it, and we accidentally touched each other. I felt like home. We became addicted to it. We had never talked about it. We just knew. Yes, it's crazy, but we truly communicated with each other just via our looks. Totally. You don't have to speak. My twin flame didn't even speak the same language as I do. And we could understand each other 100%. That's why I'm a very big advocate for the telepathic communication, because I know it's working and I've done it and I help with my clients with that. And you have to understand this one awareness, you are the same soul. You don't have to have words. Words are in 3D in a way of communicating with those who doesn't align with our energy. Until one point as we are connecting with the energy, we no longer need words. And you can call me crazy or you can, that's the truth. Even when we did something bad and one of us was mad on one another, we could apologize with our looks. We always knew what the other one is saying in his mind to us. I didn't even know that she's going to say these words, but exactly. This is another thing I spoke on my previous episode. You can speak to your twin flame without talking. And I think every one of you have met your twin flame. You can sit down and you know what your twin flame is thinking. And even if they lie to you in terms of ego mind, let's say you're asking them a question, do you love me, for example, and they would say, no, I don't love you. And then you, by your ego mind, you would tell, okay, they actually do, because I can feel it in my body, but I don't want to say it out. And there's also the fact that sometimes our chakras are blocked, not sometimes, most of the time. And there are many factors, because twin flame is a healing and loving journey, and to become your higher self. So we think of this as a really like a 3D based journey, but it's a really shift of energy. So let's go on from here. When I was leaving the school, I went to this office to see, so we can talk about it. all the funny things he shared in his office with another teacher that also taught me. I came there to look at another teacher because I was so nervous and told, Mr. Teacher, could you for a moment? And my teacher was like, sure. Even though I didn't look at him, he just knew I'm there because of him. Then we switched our telephone numbers and so we can set a date and place where we'll meet. Then in the afternoon we were texting and he told me that I should come off to his office the next morning before school. His time seemed to be open, but I knew that there was something changed and I started to be being scared. I came to him the next morning. He told me that he probably knows why I'm there. I asked him if there was something between us. He got scared and told me, no way, it's forbidden. Since this moment, he was really cold towards me. There was 1 week of school left. He came to our official goodbye ceremony of our classroom, and we looked at each other and we promised by our looks it isn't the end, just telepathy. Or the day after the ceremony, I tried to text him and I wished him a nice holiday. He answered me very formal, like my teacher, and no signs of feelings. He didn't even catch my allusion of our nice times looking into each other's eyes. He wished me and my class nice holidays and good luck for our new schools. Many times I tried to contact him and text him that I don't think he told me the truth and I would like him to talk with him. But he didn't answer, and I really wasn't sure if the feelings were true or is it just my fantasy, because the whole relationship was based on telepathy and eye speaking. Again, what is that? This summer was like hell. I fell into depression. I didn't know what I'll do. My body was hurting and I didn't know how to survive. I could imagine we won't be together every day as we used to. Then one day when I texted him again, he answered that we should really solve this somehow and I should offer him some date when we can meet. So I offered some dates, but he didn't answer. Then I found out he's marrying his girlfriend. I couldn't believe that. It came to my mind that he's marrying her just to forget me. He wants to pretend that nothing has happened and he had definitely never fell in love with me, with this student. Because he was promising her wedding for almost 3 years. I heard from his students he seems to be very sad, he can't focus on teaching, and it looks like he doesn't want to marry her. The 1 month before Christmas, I came to sleepover from my former school. And we met there. And he saw me, he freezed, and then as he saw me, he freezed, and he had to focus on his every step, in other way he would fall. He was on the staircase. We were nervous and we said hello to each other and nervously smiled. After a while he left and he was leaving the whole time we were looking each other into the eyes. The day after, I sent him a message again. I wrote down we really should solve this somehow because of the sleepover. It was really weird, but I don't want to make the pressure. I gave him space and time, and I asked him to text when he's ready. He didn't answer. Funny fact, 2 days before sleepover, I found out they're expecting a baby. In the spring, I decided to text him again. I texted him we should really solve this somehow, as he said, but he answered, we have nothing to solve, and he asked me not to text him ever again. But this time my depression got even worse. I almost kicked out of school because my grades were really low, but I hated it. This school brought me him. I had no reason to come there, and I had no motivation to wake up in the morning and start a new day. I knew he won't be part of that day. Okay, I'm going to stop here because there are a couple of things that I believe that many of my listeners are listening right now, and they're wondering, okay, you're a young girl, you fell in love with your teacher, and obviously this is forbidden. As we all know, it's not something that can go on. I just would like that everybody was listening. There is no judgment because these kind of things can happen in the life, and we can always meet our twin flames in a different position, in a different life situation. So I just would like to clear this because I could feel the energy when I'm reading it that many of you could think of, yeah, she's a young girl, fell in love with a teacher, how come he's a twin flame? Me, I'm not here to judge anybody based on a twin flame connection or the situation. I'm here to pick up the energy. And what I would like to say here is exactly that if he's a twin flame of her, she should know, and that's what my podcasts are about, that you are never separated from your twin flame. You're always together with your twin flame forever. So the fact that you feel you're as you go to school and your twin flame is not there is not the truth. Part of depression is a really big part of the connection. That's true. And because you feel like you're left out of the left out of the community, everything is changing inside of you. But it can also change for your own good. So I know it's very hard. I know I've been there. But the only medicine here is to start working on yourself and become your higher self. He definitely has currently his 3D life situation, which will happen most probably to you as well at one point. So in that terms, the best you can do to yourself is to work on yourself, to become the higher self, to become a law of attraction, that you attract the right person into your life where you're going to have a family life as well. Because one of the things is that many twin flame coaches or people will tell you that the only happiness is when you are with your twin flame. And I am the one who is saying, no, you are with your twin flame the moment you actually met. Your energies were exchanged on that moment. So now it's just your mind that is trying to have this 3D connection while you are connected in 5D. And as she's been speaking from previously that they had a telepathic communication, which she believes she had. I was not there. I don't know the whole situation. And I trust people the way they speak from their soul. So she must also know that her twin flame is always with her. She can always communicate. Another tip I'm giving here, and I always give that to all of my clients, I'm saying, you have to thank these people who are in the life of your twin flame or in a life with you. Either your marriage, your husband, and even if it wasn't a good one, especially when it wasn't a good one, it's important to thank them for understanding who you are and what kind of journey you're about to go. As she's younger, we all know when we are younger. And again, I don't want to bring in the age because we don't know the soul age. We don't know how old is your soul. We know the age from the fact that in the physical body, but our souls sometimes are older, much older than some who is 80-year-old today, for example. So what I'm trying to say to her that even though, because there is, like, if she's not ready to handle this big mission that comes with it, the universe makes you a part. And he has his life. You most probably will have your life too. But if you become and start working on yourself today, you become your higher self. And then you'll do big things. So this is just something I'd like to clarify here. At the end of the school year, I decided to go to the goodbye ceremony of his class. They were 1 year younger than me. In the first moment he saw me, he definitely didn't look happy as he sees me. But the whole time he couldn't help himself but constantly looking at me. By the way, it's 11:11 at the moment. The principal had a speech about life and how they are about to change, how they're about to be beginning of their lives. And he said, and then you will meet someone who will like to share your life path, and you go together. And as he said that, we looked at each other with this teacher like we knew we are choosing each other. The teacher knew when I studied, and suddenly from the start of the new school year, teacher knew when I studied, and I started suddenly from that start of the new school year, he partly, 1 day per week, started to teach of the school that was really close to mine. So here's important to mention that my old school was in a different town, so we didn't meet when I left it at all. But how did I find it out? One day suddenly, I met him when he was parking at the parking place, where I walked around every day to school. Since this time, he started to park there. He knew I know his number plate, so he can remind himself somehow. But then the coronavirus came and we all had to stay at home until the end of school year. The next school year, he taught me more days per week, and he didn't park there every day. But then the coronavirus rushed again. When we came back to schools, he parked there again. But at that time, I found out they are expecting another baby. I felt again really depressive and sick. I almost vomited. I was so angry, and I realized I really need him let go of him. Otherwise, it will destroy me. I started to focus on myself and really letting him go. But one day at the end of the school year, I decided not to go to school. But that same day, this morning, my friends that knows about sent him a text that she needs to tell me something. I immediately knew it's something about him. She texted me and he waited for someone at the parking place. He was nervous and he looked the direction where my bus comes. At this moment, I just knew he was waiting there for me. Now I understand as I'm letting him go, I stopped chasing him as a runner somehow decided to come back. But unfortunately, since this incident, I turned my attention back on him and away from myself. The new school year began and again I started parking there. But he taught me there more days per week, so I didn't park every day. He was there. Then I decided to make a move and test if he's still in love with me. So I started to put the paper hearts behind the windscreen wipers. And since then, he started parking there every day, and he was there. And again, I found out some new way to express our feelings without words. Unbelievable. Then after Christmas, he suddenly, out of nowhere, stopped parking there completely. By this time, I stopped paying attention of my thoughts completely, and my self-concept depended too much on his love. I became addicted again. Since then, he never parked there again. I text him again what's going on and why he stopped parking there, and that I'm really confused and that we should really solve that somehow. I also wrote down that we both have that's something between us and we shouldn't fight against it. I sent him a message and then also via WhatsApp. He didn't answer at all, and I was really desperate. I was really confused at all the time, like what the heck is happening over here? We both should share this connection. It's obvious that we are like magnets, but he's still running away. Now I came across with a twin flame concept, and it all makes suddenly sense. And here are some of my points and comments of our twin flame connection. I always knew when I'm about to meet him. I can easily connect him during the meditation. I always felt we are meant to be. Even my friends told me that they looked that has never experienced such a strong feeling to someone. I feel him when he's gone. He was the one who forced me to be interested in the spiritual stuff. The universe sent me the wisdom and law of attraction so I can manifest him back. The energy is so strong that it still sometimes makes me sick and makes me runner too. This whole time I'm afraid that he will fall out of love of this connection. And I was really surprised how long it will last. Now, thanks to the twin flame concept, I know this connection and this love will never end. Oh my God, I feel him even I'm writing this, and I started crying out of nowhere. If you would like to read this, I'm giving you my permission. Yes, it's funny that before I already said to her, her key element here is definitely to work on herself. And we all who are listening, the runner will start to run the moment you become emotionally attached to them. Even though you can have the most, like you know that you have the most beautiful connection. And then you become obsessed with them again and they run. It's emotional pressure on them and they run. They go to somewhere which is a safe place for them. But do you want to know what is the key element here, how to avoid that? Is to become the higher self. Is to let go of all the fears you have, to start working or doing something that you're meant to do in this world. And like I said, meditate, open your chakras, go to your soul, like really connect with your soul. And when you do that, there's two ways. Either your twin flame will take time to wake up, because they already had the switch, and this is I'm going to talk on my Sunday episode, where I met actually the man who didn't know that he was a twin flame runner in the beginning, and now he's a twin flame chaser. And he all of a sudden everything makes sense to him. Here is the same, that in the beginning he knew he was like the messenger for her to come and give the guidance that now it's time to wake up. She knows herself that as soon as she becomes emotional, this connection falls apart because there are some kind of wounds she needs to repair. So in order to do that, she needs to go within, let go of all of the fears, and step by step detach from his physical life and his physical, like the world, like the 3D world. He's married, has kids, has everything. Many of us know, and I am very respectful when it comes to the marriage. But I can also say that many of us marry because of our society. We never marry because, not we never. There are situations where we marry because of the society. We don't marry because our soul is ready to be with someone now. And that's normal, because what happens, most of us get married in our 20s. What do we know? Like, in that time, it's like, if you're not married by 30, everybody's looking at you like, what's wrong with you? So it's a society. And there's nothing wrong with that. I always say, please thank your twin flame runners and their spouses and even their karmic. Please thank them, and thank your husbands or your wives as well. They've given you an enormous amount of lessons to understand who you're not, who you're supposed to be. And now just thank them. Thank them for that. And even if they hurt you, the hurt came inside of you. You need to let go of that and become your higher self, because you attract what is inside of you. You attract that energy. So the more you have fear, the more you have misunderstandings, the more you attract that. Oh, this is the first concept. I'd like to bring it out here. The next thing is that, like I said, she's young. I met quite a lot of young souls right now. Young souls in that terms that they're actually old souls, but they are in a young person's body. She herself will also see that story one day a little differently, especially that she could awaken now. Can you imagine if all of us could awaken in our 20s and stay true to our soul life? How powerful, what you could do, because you don't have this fear of being yourself. So she's very lucky, and as she says, that she had that immersed connection. Obviously, for me to tell if it's 100% twin flame connection, I would need to see the numbers. I would need to see their birth dates. I would need to see when did they meet, what happened during this process, because there's a lot of, universe has everything, talks by math. So these things really matter. And also when you had a separation and all this kind of, I always say, people, please write down when things happen to you, because these dates are like a codes that we unlock the whole concept around it. So I can say, when a person feels it's my twin flame and starts getting answers for it, it's a twin flame. For her, journey is to become a higher self, and she needs to let go of the 3D matter of this teacher. She needs to understand she's united already. She's so powerful, and now work on yourself and do what she's supposed to do. So this is overall what I'm feeling from that journey. Everyone can, leave their comments and say what do they think and what do they feel, or if they can relate to it. So, like I said, I am answering certain questions I received on my Instagram. And the first question is from anything about the signs, that either if it is a twin flame connection or that union is coming. So, like I said, signs are you have to pay attention to signs. And you will actually have this knowing, like a weird knowing that, okay, yeah, that makes sense now. What I'm trying to say to you here is that the universe always speaks to you. So number one sign of the union actually is when you do not think about them no longer. It's like all of a sudden you're doing your thing, you are like in your own element, everything is happening. And then guess who will pop back to you? Your twin flame runner, 100%. But that can be also a moment where you have gone so far in your life that you become the runner. So twin flame journey and the union is not ending there when you are as a couple. Then you have a mission to do it together. But often what happens as a union is that you became your higher self as a divine feminine. Then your divine masculine is starting to awaken. You help with your mind, with your soul and with your meditation and with the knowledge you have now to awaken him. Once he's awakened, then you become the union. Can be physical union, can be different, like separate union in that terms that you're not physically together, but now you have the understanding of what is twin flame journey. And from there on, you will have a mission. And I wouldn't take that mission lightly because it's something you really have to pay attention. So even though right now you're listening and you're like, I want to be with my twin flame, that's all I want. I want to be with my twin flame. Absolutely, we all do. But twin flame connection is a connection of love and light. And when you do that, you understand the whole concept. So I'll talk about this in one of my union podcasts, but I will also talk about this in the future, how to understand what will be your mission. Another question here is like, how do I know that I'm not just going crazy and they are your twin flame? Very easy answer. You just know. You just know that he or she is your twin flame because it pops in your head, it comes out of nowhere, and you just have this weird senses, and you start getting information about twin flames. And of course, one of the biggest factors is that you're obsessed, like so crazily, that you have never been obsessed about somebody else. Like you cannot sleep, you cannot eat, and it's not like that you are in love, it's like controlling your life. The next question is, what to do if your twin flame is married to someone else? Then there is no chance of our union. Again, something I try to explain, and the moment you met your twin flame, the moment you exchange the energies, you are in a union. In that terms, union, that you are together forever. You can feel your twin flame can feel you. You are the same awareness. So now what happens in a 3D world, if somebody is married or the other part is married, it's just, illusion. I'm not calling that your marriage is illusion or the other person is illusion. It's just a 3D world factor. But you and your twin flame are connected forever. And then you get to this understanding when you are becoming your higher self that, wow, I can feel my twin flame. I know what my twin flame is thinking. I know something is happening. I can feel this, I can feel that. The more you work on this, the more you become together. And also in a 3D life, you can become a union. So if your twin flame is married to someone else, that is a sign for you. There is a time for you right now to work on yourself, to become your higher self, to become a law of attraction, to make things happen in this world, to bring more love and light, help the society. So you have a lot of power inside of you now. And your twin flame was your mirror to reflect you that. Twin flame perspective in separation. So they run because they are super afraid. They feel that energy 100%. I've spoken to my twin flame. I have spoken to the next time episode who I had. They feel the energy. They know from day one that something happened and they cannot really put into the words. They're like, what just happened to me? How come I feel this way? Well, the reason they feel this way is because the soul both met. So now you'll be asking, yeah, but if it's so beautiful and so amazing, why do they run away? So again, here are pretty much three factors, I would say. Number one factor is that they get really afraid of that and they are not ready for it. Often their spiritual connection is not as high or as connected that they could understand the connection. They go really 3D based connection. The second thing is that universe wants that you'll have a separation to become one with yourself, to let your ego behind and to become your highest version. This is what I am teaching for all of my students. You have to become your higher self. You have to become the law of attraction, who attracts abundance, love, care, brings the beauty into this world. So that's what universe wants from you. Universe have chose you, my beautiful soul. The universe chose you to bring love and light and be this magnetic being. I know it's a bit of a curse and a bit of a gift, but it is so magical once you get there. So I know that right now I was there where you think of yourself as your twin flame will make you only complete, your twin flame runner. Actually, it's yourself, because you are already complete. You met your twin flame. So now all you have to do is to open your chakras, start speaking your truth, do what matters to you, and see how the world will unfold for you. And then often they come back, of course, because they feel your love energy, they feel your awareness, they feel who you are. So if you want your twin flame to come back, you need to do the work with yourself. And then you have a free will to make a decision. Either you're going to continue with your twin flame or you have somebody else in your life. It's more complex than just saying that sit there and your twin flame will come back. There's a work to do, and I know that. I went through my dark night of the soul where I really thought I'm going to die. And until I let go of all of this, I opened my chakras. I had to do a lot of work. I had a lot of fear of love. Like I was afraid of love. I didn't know what love means actually. And yeah, eventually everything worked out. And then guess who popped back? My twin flame. So it's a journey. But as soon as you become obsessed with the mind, they run. As soon as you think, oh, I want to be with them. What is he thinking? What is she thinking? What is this? What is that? How can we? They're gone. It's just like the energy like this. How do I know the twin flame union is near? You know when the twin flame union is near when you are really happy with yourself. You're content. You are feeling like you're floating around the world. You are doing things. You don't no longer think about him. You kind of trust the universe. You really trust the journey. You really feel him as in a 5D. You speak in a 5D. You're happy. You had everything happening. And then you also know that, wow, I'm in the union. And then, like I said, they pop back to you. So but the happiness cannot be this fake happiness. I really mean that where you are feeling like a child, like super happy and super content. So these were the questions from my Instagram. If you have any questions about twin flame journey or you would like to know what's happening, feel free to send on Wednesdays your question to me when I put it out. Feel free to ask the question and I will answer on my Wednesday's episode. But before we're going to finish today's episode, I have a couple of things to say. Number one, next Wednesday, we have a special episode actually. It's the first time when I did a podcast episode with another twin flame. And we did a video version as well. I'm putting the video version out on Patreon on the day before. So on Tuesday, it will come out there. So those who want to see who is that woman behind this voice, have a chance to see this on Patreon. I try to finish that properly, and then the link is out there where you can support me and I can do more video content and show you all the techniques, all the methods, and everything I know how to get closer to union, how to become a law of attraction, how to make your world the best. Then, like I said, the upcoming Sunday, I had this week very interesting calls from two of my clients, and I'm taking the free will not to speak of exactly of the story, but the concept around if you haven't met your twin flame yet, and you have this sense of feeling that you are going to meet your twin flame. And the other part is that where a man actually didn't know about that he is a twin flame runner in the beginning, and now he has his awakening and starts to feel that there is twin flames. And so now everything all of a sudden makes sense to him. So for those who would like to hear that episode, please subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. If you have any feedback about today's episode, if you have any kind of questions, please always let me know. Like I said, there is no judgment. There are just stories that come from the soul and we are looking answers for. And each twin flame journey is very separate, different. So that's why I know that until now I've heard so many stories that in the beginning I'm like, don't think so. And then when I get into details, I get into the energy, I pick up the energy, and I'm like, wow, that is something beyond. So that's why I'm offering the first twin flame consultation call is for free. It's for 45 minutes. And there we discuss together of your journey, what happened. I pick up the energy, I pick up the dates, and I see how you can open yourself up to become your higher self. Because I remember, we come to this world alone and we leave this world alone, regardless are we in a twin flame journey or not. So the best gift you can do for yourself is to become your higher self and serve the world with the highest power. And it's pretty common that then your twin flame comes back to you as well. So thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you liked it. So every kind of comment is more than welcome. I hope to see you soon here. Lots of love and light.
I have found new ways, but no, I can't be the one that you need. Yeah, you know.